Good morning, everybody. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live daily photo and video show on Facebook. No, on YouTube. That's where we are. Facebook. That was like last year. Man, YouTube. Every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Hi, how you doing? So hey, if you're not here live, you could be and you should be, because it's a lot of fun live chit chat on the live thing. If you are here live, for those of you watching live and you're chatting to me, make sure you put the @PhotoJoseph in front of your chat to make sure that I see it. And of course, if you really want to help support the show, hit that super chat button down at the bottom of the screen. That is always an excellent way to support the show and to ensure that I see your comments. We are going to be doing this show in two parts, so I'll be addressing questions as we go during the show that are relevant to what we're talking about, and all other questions we will do after the first closing, so there'll be a full commentary afterwards. So we're trying our new format here for just the second time, splitting today's live broadcast into two separate videos. So hopefully this works out. Today's topic is stop motion on the Lumix cameras. We're using the GH5 today, but as far as I know, this is a feature that's in at least for the recent history, has been built into most, if not all, the Lumix cameras. One of the features in here is called onion skinning. We're going to talk about that. And someone posted, I posted a thing on Instagram yesterday just showing a little mock-up, kind of onion skin mock-up that I did. And someone said, oh my God, GH5 has that. That's revolutionary. And I thought, oh, was the onion skinning new on the GH5? And I grabbed my GX85 this morning before the show started and double-checked it. The onion skinning is there too. So this feature that I'm showing you on the GH5 today is not exclusive to the GH5. It absolutely exists on the GX85, which means it has to be on the G85, and it's got to be on the GX8. So it's got to be on a lot of the Lumix cameras, if not all of them. I don't think this functionality has really changed throughout the last couple of years. So this is just a fun feature that's been in there for a while, and someone had actually asked about it on this show, which is why we're doing it today. So stop motion. What the heck is stop motion animation? Well, if you've ever watched any claymation movie, Wallace and Gromit kind of a thing, that's all stop motion. And that is, stop motion is where okay, let's back up. Video is just a series of pictures, right? If you're watching a 30 frame per second video, it is actually 30 pictures in a row, 30 still photos in a row, if you want to think of it that way. So stop motion simply means that you're taking those pictures, those 30 frames per second, one frame at a time. You're setting up your camera, you take a picture, and then you move something on scene, take another picture, that's frame 2, move it again, take another picture, that's frame 3, and repeat this for a bajillion frames to make a motion picture feature film. It's like crazy how many of these frames it takes. And every frame, you're moving the elements as you want it to move, and then when you play it back, it plays back as if your Legos are walking, your clay is dancing, whatever that is that you're doing. And it's super fun. And if you look on YouTube, just search Lego movies, other than the actual Lego movie, which was all computerized. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I really don't know, but I'm assuming it was all computerized. The Lego movies you find on YouTube, mostly which are done by kids and very enthusiastic adults, they're really fun. There are some insanely cool, so creative movies, stop motion animations on YouTube today. There are people, their entire channels dedicated to it, people who have put a huge amount of time and effort into making really cool animations. So we're going to look at how you do that using the Lumix cameras today. And again, this is on, as far as I know, pretty much all Lumix cameras. I'm sure you're going to find this on Olympus, on Sony's. You're probably not going to find it built into DSLRs, Canons, and Nikons, but maybe you will. And I only say that because I know it wasn't on my older ones, and that was the kind of thing you had to add expensive hardware to make it do, or plug it into a computer. But this is built in, so it's super fun. Anybody can do it. If you're looking for something fun to do with your kids this weekend, grab a bunch of old Legos and your camera and go to town. Have some fun. So before we get started in the actual shooting it, I do want to point out something that's kind of important. When you're doing this, you want your camera steady, right? And I should do this. I have my camera it's on a tripod, obviously, but it could still move on here. So I'm going to tape this down because I don't want the camera to move, and I also don't want the set to move. So you can kind of see here, and I only have the one camera because the other one's in use, but my little Lego platform is on a glass block to raise it up because I needed it up higher. This is all taped down because when you're doing this, you have something you want to move. You see my little card, that's what I'm going to move in the stop motion. But I don't want my ground or my tree to move. And if this wasn't secure to the table, as I went to move something, I could end up moving the whole platform, and that would be bad. So if you're going to do this, save yourself the frustration, grab some tape down your whatever's supposed to be stationary. And in my case here, I'm also going to tape down this little platform to my table, just to fold over, just to make sure that this doesn't move around on me. There we go. Good enough. Okay. Yay, much better. Okay, so just do that. Save yourself the headache of going, ah, I lost it. I lost my framing. All right, let's do it. So on the GH5, you have, again, sorry, I don't have a close-up camera right now, but on the dial on the top, the one that switches you between single exposure, multiple exposure, and then what is it, 6K photo, and then post focus, and then self-timer. The last one in here is the time-lapse / animation, still frame animation, whatever the heck this thing is called that we're talking about today, mode. You have to go into that mode for the camera to go through its steps, as we're about to do. On cameras that don't have this, you don't. It's just in your single shooting mode. You just do it electronically and it goes. But it's a physical dial on here. So you got to go into that mode. And then, let's wake the camera back up here. And let's go ahead and switch over to it. There she is. I'm going to go into the menu. And on this camera, it is under the camera menu at the top. And then under, if it's on page 4 or 5 in this case, you'd find it in here. And here you see it says time-lapse / animation. On most Lumix cameras, it's 2 separate menus. So you have a time-lapse menu and an animation menu, 2 separate ones. Same function. Here they've just combined it into one. So we click on that. And then you see your mode is time-lapse shot, which we were looking at just the other day. If you missed our thing on the time-lapse, click here, because we did talk about that just the other day. And in this case, we're of course going to go into stop-motion animation. This add to picture group is there so that if you have already started an animation and you want to pick up where you left off, you can click add to, and then the new pictures that you shoot will get added into that group instead of creating a new group. In this case, we're starting from scratch, so we don't need to do that. And then the next setting is auto shooting. Oops, I didn't mean to hit that. Oh, see, it's telling me there's no pictures because I accidentally hit the group button, which is not what I wanted. Here we go, auto shooting, on or off. If you put it on, then it's basically like a time lapse, right? You can choose your shooting interval and it will automatically take your pictures at whatever interval you want, up to 60 seconds apart. Can we go higher? 60 seconds apart would be the max. That is useful if you are, if you have a very, you know exactly how it's going to move, or you know how long it's going to take, or you don't want to have to touch it, or whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of different reasons to use it, but for the most part, I think most people are going to want to go manual. So you go into here and you turn off auto shooting, go manual, and that means that, sorry, hit the wrong one. There we go. You want to turn off auto shooting, turn that off, so that was on, turn that off, and then that means that you will be pushing the button whenever you want it to take a picture. That way you're not in any kind of rush to get your shot set up. You know, once it's set up, push the button and it takes the picture. One of the things you might want to add to this, if you're going to be really, really hyper-critical, accurate about things, so that you're not physically touching the camera, which could, of course, move things a little bit if you're not careful. You might want to get a cable release for it. You could also do it by the Wi-Fi app. Actually, I shouldn't say that for sure. I'm sure you can. It's got to be, I haven't tried it. It's got to be one of the things you could do through the Wi-Fi app. But if you can't, then having a cable release might be a good idea. Obviously, we're not going to get that accurate and sensitive about it today. But if you're on a really good solid tripod, you're locked in, you're good to go, then you should be fine as well. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But it's just one of those little extra steps that you could take. All right, before we start playing with it, let's take a look at what comments have been flying by here. Let's see here, going back to the beginning of the chit chat. Brent saying it's the same with the GH4, so great. So it goes all the way back to the GH4. That's great to know. Kevin says there's no such word as Legos. Lego is the company name. You meant to say Lego bricks. I did most absolutely meant to say Lego bricks. However, when I say Legos for the rest of the show, deal with it. Burnsteck says, top tip, self-adhesive rubber feet glued to your camera mount work well on smooth surfaces to help keep the board still. That is true. I actually have some of those here. These kind of little things, little tiny rubber feet you can stick onto things. I could put that on here, absolutely. I actually got these so that I could put them under my coffee mug, which I spilled earlier, so it's not in here anymore, so that I could keep it from making noise when I set it down, but then it ended up being uneven, and that drove me nuts. So, but yeah, these little rubber feet are a very good idea. Look at that, I have some right there. Maybe I should put some on here. Whatever, doesn't matter. And anything else? Nothing else there. All right, so let's, before we do that, let me because yesterday I totally forgot to do any kind of promotional stuff. So now I'm going to throw out the promotions hard and fast and furious. Hey, did you know that I'm doing a GH5 training? Of course you did. GH5training.com, where you can learn all about it. We are in production in this, neck deep in production. I actually plan to wrap shooting this weekend. I'm going away tomorrow, but we'll come back to that later. Plan to wrap shooting this weekend, and we will actually have a sample video. It might already be edited. My editor was working on it last night, so I might have a sample video to upload today so you can get a taste of what it looks like. But gh5training.com, that is the home for the GH5 training course that I'm working on. If you pre-order before it is completed, it is only $59 versus once it's done, it will be $99. This is a comprehensive course that will be available for download. Also will be available on lynda.com/LinkedIn Learning for streaming. So if you are a Lynda/LinkedIn member and you don't mind waiting, you can wait a little bit and then you won't have to pay any extra for it. It'll just be part of your membership there. In that case, it'll be streaming from my site. It'll be downloadable. So up to you, obviously, which one you would like to do. Also, I want to remind you that we're going to Mexico and I want you to come with me. PhotoJoseph.com/workshops. This is our big, fun, super awesome Mexican workshop in Oaxaca. This is a cultural tourism / photography workshop. We did one in January. It was crazy fun. We're doing one in October. Different weather patterns, one different location, changing up from last time, and it should be really, really phenomenally cool. So if you're interested in that at all, head over to photojoseph.com/workshops and do check that out. All right, let's get on with this thing. So back to this. We are going to look back through the camera. I'm going to position the camera in a nice and friendly way. Let's get this thing. Let's set up a nice shot, and that should work there. I'm going to start my little car dude over here, and how about we focus on the little car dude, and let's focus right on his face there. There we go. So you're seeing through the viewfinder, you're seeing everything that I'm seeing. I've got, oh, by the way, the lens that I'm working with today is the 30mm macro f2.8, so it's a 60mm equivalent f2.8. You probably could not do this without a macro lens, I think, because we're not that close to it. But, it's the lens that I grabbed to do this, so the macro lens is what we are shooting with today. And so let's go in and make sure that our modes are all set. So back again into the menu, time-lapse animation is on. It's set to stop motion mode. We are not adding to any existing picture group, and auto shooting is off. And then, of course, I have the mode on the top of the camera set to the time-lapse / animation. Notice in the top right of the screen, there's a little icon that has a number 1 in it and looks like 3 pieces of paper or something stacked next to each other. That tells us we're in the time-lapse mode, and so I'm now ready to go. So I'm going to focus on my little dude there and take the first picture. Okay, so there's picture 1. And now watch what happens. As I reach into the screen and I move this guy, you see the previous shot left behind. This is called onion skinning. So we can see what the previous shot was so that I can line this up. And this is going to be hard to do with my arm in the way. So I can line this up, and I probably should have been a little bit more careful about not moving the dude, but I'm going to move him forward a little bit there, line that up, and the next shot is now ready to go. So I hit the button again, take another, oops, let's actually make sure we're focused on his face, and next frame. Perfect. Now I'm going to go in and move him a little bit more. And you get 3 layers of the onion skin in place. And now you'll see now the last one just went away, or the first shot rather went away, and now we're on to the next one. So we're going to build a little acceleration into this. He's going to just put a little farther distance between each frame, and make him go a little bit faster across the scene. Now this is all there is to it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and obviously you can do all kinds of stuff. You don't have to just do little Lego guys flying across the screen in here. You don't have to just move one thing. You can do anything you want building your little Lego animation. See, we're going to have him turn his head and wave as well. So I'm going to turn him a little bit, rip his head off there, start raising his arm up a little bit. Now we're getting crazy. This is fun. This stuff is just fun. If you got kids, this can be a really fun family activity. I'm telling you, I know this because I've spent countless rainy weekends doing this sort of thing with my boy. We did it with the iPad before because there was a really cool app, I don't remember what it's called now, but there was a great app on the iPad that worked for this sort of thing, and just super easy, fun little entertainment. And then, of course, once the movie's done, you can take it into iMovie or something and add some music to it, shoot multiple scenes, start editing them together. It's anything you can do. So there we go, a little bit more. I'm having too much fun. The onion skinning is great, isn't it? Isn't that just super awesome? And we'll one more turn of the head, arm up in the air, and focus on his face. Let's not get his arm. I want to make sure he's, look at that, perfect focus tracking. Who knew? And we're going to get him right out of the scene there, just like so. All right, last one. Last one. Click. Okay, so that's it. So we're done now. How cool is that? How much fun is that? Isn't that neat? I'm going to build the movie before I do that. Let's just see what else is going on in the chats here. Any other comments we want to hit on this that are specifically about this? Ben5 Shuttle saying, how great is that in-camera onion skinning? Right? That makes it super cool. Okay, the other comments in there we'll come to in the commentary later because that is off topic. All right, so let's go back to this. So now that I'm done, you see up in the top right, it says that number that was a 1 with those little 3 icons next to it is now 14. It tells me I've taken 14 pictures. If I tap on that, it says, do you want to end stop motion shooting? I say, yes, I do. And then it says, do you want to create a video? And I'll say, yes, I do. And let's see here. I'll wait for the screen to sync back up again. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So now it says stop motion video, record quality. So I can choose what quality I want. We're going to do full HD. Let's do like full on 4K. It doesn't matter. Let's do full HD 30p frame rate. So you can choose your frame rate. So you can do how much, if you want to do 1 frame per second up to 30. And look at there, just like we did with the time lapse, 60 is there but not available, and no, I have not gotten an answer on to why yet. So we're going to make this kind of slow. Let's do like a 6 frame per second. And what's cool is if we find that this is too fast or too slow, I'll show you how we can go back in and redo the movie at a different frame rate later. And we can, all of this we're doing in camera. And obviously I should point out, you could of course just take the still pictures out of here and bring them into your computer and build a time lapse that way. Also, I want to point out, so I set the camera to shoot in 16:9. I also set it to JPEG only. Totally up to you. You can leave it in 4:3 and have a 4:3 movie. You can leave it in 4:3 and then take the pictures into Final Cut or wherever your After Effects, wherever you're going to do your movie, and then you have you can reframe. You can shoot in RAW if you wanted to do raw processing on every single frame before you build the movie. I've set it to just do JPEG only because for this, I don't need the full on RAW, but you can do it. So you can do it however you want. All right, so frame rate, we're going to leave it at 6, and sequence you can set normal or reverse. We're going to leave it at normal and hit OK, and it's going to say, take about a minute to do. It's going to create the video, and please wait, and we're ready to go. And then we hit play, and there he goes. I love it. Look at that, look at him go. Doo, doo, doo. Sound effects not included. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that's it. That's all there is to it. I love it. Let me show you how to redo it in case you change your mind on how it was, or you got interrupted, you came back later. So if you are coming back after a while, you go, oh, I want to redo the movie, or in this case, I want to do it at a different frame rate. So all I got to do is go into the menu, go to the play menu, and you'll find on the GH5, it's on page 3 of 3, it says stop motion video. Click on that, and it brings up you can cycle through any set. So if I had multiple sets, I've only got the one, so this is the one that we see. So I hit the set button, and now I'm back to this same menu. So let's do the same thing at a slower frame rate at 3 frames per second, and that's the only change we'll make. Process time 1 minute, create that, create the video, and there we go. And we play it. And are we playing it? Play. There we go. And there's the movie playing back at 3 frames per second instead of 6. So totally up to you how you want to do that. Pretty neat, huh? Pretty cool, pretty fun. All right, let me see anything else on here about this, and then we're going to move on to the commentary. Okay, so John McCabe, we're going to hit your question in the commentary, and that's it. So one more quick little shout out in here. Today, in 2 hours, or is it in 4 hours? At some point today, I'm doing a live training on Affinity Photo. This is the basic editing on Affinity Photo. So we started Affinity Photo last week. That was an overview. I got to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm liking Affinity Photo a lot. So Affinity Photo is a viable Photoshop replacement, is what you'll hear many people say. We're going to look at a basic editing experience today, and over the course of the next several weeks, we will be going in piece by piece and going through breaking down all the individual components of it. But today we're looking at it from kind of I just needed to do some basic photo editing, things like levels and curves and maybe retouching, and just find out where those essential tools are. So let me check the time, since now I'm not remembering what time I'm doing this. For those of you who may want to watch this, if you go to photoapps.expert/live, you'll see it there. This is it, photoapps.expert/live. It was supposed to be yesterday. I had to rebook it to today. 11:30 a.m. Oh my goodness, it's in like an hour and a half, so I got to get moving here. 11:30 a.m. Pacific this morning, so in an hour and a half, like live in 89 minutes, we'll be doing that. And if you're around for that, do check it out. It'll be a lot of fun. If you can't watch it live, that course will be available afterwards at photoapps.expert. /live, you'll find it there, or it'll be on the front page. Usually within about 24 hours it's up, and at that point it is available for purchase, or if you are a paid member of the site, then you have unlimited access to those videos. But if you can watch it live, then you get to watch it for free, just like these videos. Okay, that's that. Let's get out of here. You know the routine. If you liked what you saw today, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you don't like what you saw today, you can do this, but tell me why. Be nice about it. Give me some constructive feedback. I always like that. And that's it. If you're gonna watch the commentary, stick around. That'll be up in just a moment live. And if you are watching this not live, then in the Foursquare that's about to come up, you will see a link to the commentary. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Bye-bye.